What's going on, everybody? Degen Dave here, and we are getting a massive freaking sell-off. What the hell's going on? We had all this great news, agreements between China and Trump. Man, are you guys throwing off? Let me know in the chats how you guys are doing. For me, it feels like Black Friday already, man. I'm like freaking long and stuff, adding to my positions here. Yeah, we could go a little bit lower, but I think it's potentially a bounce time, guys. So let's get locked and loaded. And you guys know the freaking deal. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification, where it just helps the algorithm, guys. My airtime is completely off the radar for most of Banter, right? I'm here in the United States, and everybody on the other side of the world is sleeping, right? Except for those of you guys that are staying up late to watch this show. And I appreciate all of you guys that are tuned in here. I also appreciate all the love and support with the Banter Royale. Gosh, I did not think I was going to do 3 for 3, but I did it. Everyone's like, Dave, you got to teach us how to scalp, man. And so shoot, any of you guys that followed me on that Trump short, man, that one printed pretty nicely here. But I think shorts are kind of almost played out. Yeah, you've got the JELLYJELLYs and the I mean, what's that one? The 𝗵𝗔𝗘𝗵𝗔, whatever. PIPPIN, it's on the upside there. But those are dangerous, guys. We're here to make calculated decisions. We are calculated gamblers, if you will. We are here in the trading casino. You can trade anytime you want. 24/7 crypto market, guys. How are we going to tackle this thing, right? So I'm going to take you guys through my strategy here. And guys, let me know in the chats, how are you guys feeling right now? Because I'm probably going to do the exact opposite, right? If most of you guys are scared, that's an indicator in itself. So let's jump into this thing here. Banter bubbles. What is going on? Blood on the streets. Holy cow. But let's just take this into perspective. Like, what is still up for the week, right? We've got virtuals on a tear. Pump still doing quite nicely. Arrow just keeps doing the arrow things, flying high. You've got Trump. Why is Trump pumping, right? Well, we need to kind of do a little bit of research there. HBAR, we had the ETF listing. Zcash doing Zcash things there. Finally had a nice little pullback there. Aster finally going to zero. Is it or is it not? CZ, you're going to have to do a little bit of life support there, man. Take down 11%. Celestia still in the dumps. It's pretty funny. Is Celestia even still a thing? And then for the day, obviously, a lot of selling pressure here. And I kind of like this, right? It seems like every single time, or not every single time, but I keep getting, hey, Dave, here's your time slot, and there's blood on the streets, right? Which is great. A lot of us like to take longs, and we're getting a little bit of a bouncy bounce right now. Virtuals, nice one there. I actually took a long on SN. I mean, I took longs on a bunch of stuff here. So let's get into what I have here, guys. RSI heat maps. Let's load it up here. What is going on? Lab, PIPPIN on the tear. M still staying up there. I mean, manipulation, strategic planning by the whales, whatever you want to call it. And then what the heck is on? Which ones went to hell here, right? You got IP, you've got ENA. We were looking at a potential ENA setup. Didn't take that one. Lost the trend. GTO, HEMI, common, res. Is that Mavia? Mav? No, that's got to be something else there. MTL. How's that even still around? So let's get into it. What is happening with Bitcoin, guys? Well, we pretty much took out weekend lows, but we still have this weekend low that we talked about last session here, right? Weekend lows. I still have my alert. It's not off yet. We're waiting. And if you guys remember 2 Sundays ago, let's just take the magnifying glass. This here was on a Sunday. It was a wick low. And then from that point forward, we have just been on the up and up and up and up. And a lot of us traders have been just confused. Like, why didn't they take out the weekend lows? They must come for it later. And that's typically what happens, right? And then we printed a new weekend low the next Sunday. Right, so the next weekend low was basically right here in this territory. Saturday, Friday, this was in the morning time. So essentially the weekend low was like here, right? And the weekend lows were taken out. And it was interesting, right? Because we had a point of control. Made a lot of sense for a bounce. But, instead we just went to the downside, right? Which is completely fine. But, we're at a very crucial level right now. We're at a value area low on a very important fixed range volume profile, right? So let me just kind of zoom out and show you guys here, right? And I tell you guys all the time, value area low is where you long it. Point of controls, you either take profits short or long those as well. And then you got value area high sitting here at like 120. So we're sitting here at value area low. And if most of you guys in the chats right now are super scared, then I think that's the indicator, right? I think we're catching our low here. Now, what is Asia going to do here? Are they going to mess with the U.S. markets entries here? They very well could, right? Or they could do the classic little pullback here, fake out for the first few hours, get their entries, and then we go. The other idea here is that Asia could continue the sell-off, right? That everything is possible, right? We could go dark and start heading for 100K, but I think there's a lot of people shorting support, and there's always, especially if the sentiment is bearish out there, then that means most there's a lot of people entering new shorts, right? And if you're going to short support, all it takes is just a quick manipulated whale attack for them to inject money into the system and squeeze those guys out, right? So we're at a 786 fib as well. And, I love the science, guys, because it literally, let's just ensure that this fib is done correctly here. Wick low, I've got the magnet tool on, wick low, wick high, magnet. And then let's take the magnifying glass. Look at that, 786 kiss, followed by a bounce. So that could have very well been it. However, Asia can come, take them out, then get their entry, take out the weekend lows. So that is a potential. And if that is the case, for me, that is an adding opportunity for some of these long situations that I'm looking at right now. So we're getting very close to a bounce. I feel it in my bones, right? But I could be wrong, and we could go straight to hell. Now, if we go straight to hell, I've talked about this before. This wick low here at 102, like I don't want to see us go very much lower than 100K. So we're not too far off from 100K, and if we do, guys, like that's an opportunity. I don't think we're going to go below 100K. I think there's going to be a lot of people getting very bearish at 100K, and I think for sure we're going to get a crazy ass bounce. Excuse my French, right? And you can see here on this 96.9 or 97K level, there's an extreme point of control. And this is on a bigger fixed range volume profile that I got going on here, right? So I've got two going on here. I showed you guys this one, but we have this bigger one here, right? And so, if we do get dark and we come down here, we have these guys that would get taken out and we have this point of control. Now, I don't want to put you guys in that headspace because I think that could happen, but I think not yet. I think that it's just too easy. Again, the market makers are not going to do what's easy. They're going to do what takes both sides, right? And so if we are to go down that level, I would like to see the bounce here, right? And there's a lot of reason to say that we're going to probably reject around 110, right? So I would love to see the relief rally, Friday pump, green into the market, weekend trap. Everyone's getting bullish again, right? It's the same song and dance, and then they freaking send us to hell. Right, I'm okay with that scenario. And then obviously we're going to look for some banging shorts up here, right? But I think shorts are kind of outplayed. Shorts should have been taken here, all right? So that's what I'm looking for. I just want to keep it very simple for you guys. And so just set an alert here, 106.053 weekend lows. Weekend lows are taken out. That should be your cue to add to your positions or fire off some longs, whatever the case may be. Okay, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys we're going to short right now. This is kind of shorting support. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, the other thing we can start doing too is get on the 5-minute time frame, right? Dissect this thing, drop an anchored VWAP from the lows, right? Like look how much wick action we had here, right? We had just a lot of it just couldn't get past 106.309. Like that is a key level here. And again, they could very well come down and tap that. But now we can track this anchored VWAP. If you start to see Bitcoin kind of go under this anchored VWAP, then we're probably going to start coming. We're probably going to come a little bit lower here. But the idea for me is if we're going to be looking for an upside move, we want US and Asia to both be in alignment, right? So I would prefer that Asia comes and tries to get their entry here and to leave US alone. That way, both of us can join the party and pump it to the moon. Not to the moon, but you know what I'm saying, to like 110-ish region. Okay. So that is my analysis. That is what I'm thinking. Right? If we start to drift down, right, and this is weak, we're not getting the buying, right, and we do a candle action like that, and we bounce, right, this is going to look very ugly. I'm not going to have confidence in this situation. That simply means we're losing value area low, and we're probably back testing to go down to that 100K. And then we'll reassess there, right? We'll reassess there. And I think even Dylan, the Lord of Entry, has talking about that 100K level there. Okay. But that's kind of worst case scenario for all the bears out there that just wants this, you know, let's just say you're holding big shorts and you're like, hey, I want this thing to keep nuking down. Right. You know, that's what I can tell you guys. Potential 100K on the cards. Now, USDT dominance, right? I was looking at, you know, this trend line here. And trend line's invalidated. But what we do have is we had this rising trend, and then we had the loss of the trend with this essentially retest here. And I think it's interesting to see the retest and the way that this is drawn perfectly, reject right here, right? So this is, you know, if we are to see some kind of extra pump here with Asia open, you know, this is kind of music to my ears for these longs, right? And you know, that could just be a simple move to the downside here, a little 5% move. And that would simply mean altcoins are going to have some kind of relief bounce. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Bitcoin dominance still in this bullish posture here. I'm sure Benjamin Cowan is excited to see it like this, right? But personally, it just really hasn't done too much, right? It was just kind of just been sideways for a couple weeks here, a little up, down, up, down, up, down. The more important chart to pay attention to right now is this USDT dominance, right? How many people are swapping their crypto chips for a stable coin, right? And obviously there was quite a bit that has happened here in the last, you know, 24 hours or so. Okay, so highlights from last week. Let's get into some setups. Get ready, guys. Highlights from last week, right? Jupe, we gave a Jupe setup here. Nice little run up from where we were looking at. It went far beyond what I was looking for, but it just goes to show, right? You look for the good entries, 29% pump to the upside. There's that Trump short that I took. I actually gave Trump to the chart hackers. So if you guys are not a part of our organization, make sure you guys go into the description below and get started with us. It's like a gym membership. If you guys don't see results, then simply turn off your membership, right? So, but you know, we're like your financial coaches or crypto coaches, trading coaches, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, 881 was the stop loss. We had this amazing trend line that was in play. We had screaming bearish divergences. And, you know, if you guys are in that Trump short, I would just say, hey, take some profits, right? We're banging into a point of control. And again, you guys probably, if you guys were tuned into the Banter Royale, you guys saw me take this entry. I kept saying I was shorting Trump. Okay, so let's get into like the major setups. The first major setup I want to talk about is Link. Okay, now the reason why I want to talk about Link, and again, if you guys are part of the chart hackers, I gave a full detailed description of this setup. Okay, but this is a conference play. And we tried to do the conference play a couple weeks ago with Sonic, and yeah, it didn't really work out. And so I learned my lesson, but I've done quite well in conference plays. In fact, Jupe was one of my biggest trades this year. It was like, you know, March or April, whenever Jupe had that conference here. And I was suspecting, I was thinking, look, I want to see a bigger sell-off here. And here's the deal. SmartCon is here next week on November 4th. So how many days is that, right? That's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to start in 5 days. And I expect a pre-rally or a rally during or a rally after, some kind of rally. And I don't really care when the rally happens. If we are going to see some dips, I think it's for buying. In fact, and today is the first buying opportunity, right? Now, historically speaking, and I posted this again in the Discord, but every single time SmartCon happens, there's a rally. Every single time. It's you know, 4 for 4. Is it going to be 4 out of 5, right? And so we're doing this based off of statistics, probability. The probability says we're probably going to see some kind of rally here. Okay. And then usually 30 to 40 days after SmartCon is when there's some kind of local top, right? So I'm not looking to hang on to a swing long, but I am looking to maximize on the conference. So here's what's going on. I've got a big range pull here. Okay, this is the higher time frames. I'm on the 6-hour time frame. I've got value area high here. I've got a point of control here, and I've got value area low right here. Okay, and then this is the zoomed in version, and this is the setup that I gave the chart hackers. Okay, so I'm in the position. I've started it here on WeX. I've got some cooking, you know, I've got stuff cooking in the kitchen right now. I've got a $20,000 position, a little bit of drawdown, but like I said, I have just 1 foot in the door, ready to add more to my position here with Link. And yeah, it's pretty much at an entry now. Now, anybody that was in the chart hackers, I had a super tight stop loss just in case that they were going to come down even further. So, the shorter time frames, that idea is stopped out. But, ideally, I'm looking for the bigger play here. So I have one size position here, and I'm looking at adding at the value area low. So remember, I showed you on that big fixed range volume profile, right? This is value area low, and look at the confluence at this value area low. We've had a wick low right here. Okay, I don't really count this API error. Okay, that was, an API error, whatever the case may be. But, look at this low right here, right? So this was on the 2nd of August, little wick action, right? From that low, massive rally to the upside. I mean, how much of a move was that? 71% to the upside. And then there was one right here, right? This wick low here on the 3rd of February, right? So this seems like a very nice area, and that's where I have a plan to add to my position, right? So value area low, I told everybody in the chart hackers, I will be adding to my position there. And, just to look at my link setup here, you can see here on WEX, I have another order, same size position here at 15.5, right? So I'm okay with the extra sell-off. If Asia wants to come and take US out, be my guest, right? I'll take that order. It'll basically merge the positions, and I'll be on my way to a freaking nice rally here. So guys, I'm giving that to you guys right here, right now. Again, nothing crazy. This is not full sending everything that I got. Mortgage the house. It's enter a little bit now and add on the dips, right? And if we see the move to the upside before your order hits, that's where you market long, add to your position, and look to maximize this conference. Now let's talk about some take profit zones here, guys. I think it's very important that we take profits right around here at $18. There's quite a bit of resistance here. We have the 200-day moving average, right? So that is definitely a TP zone. And then, breaking this trend here, TP2, we have these highs right here. Okay, that's another TP zone around $19. But ultimately, I'm looking to take this here up towards the anchored VWAPs from the highs, the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average here, right? So this is a nice little 25% play, and it could be higher. Anything's possible. Value area high is way up here, $26. That's a 55% move. We also have this point of control at $24, right? So this is kind of, just realistic targets. But again, anything's possible. We saw what happened with Jupe. We saw what happened with a lot of these setups here that I've done in the past, especially like Crow. It ran like 150%. But yeah, look, POC, $24. I think it makes a lot of sense. And this value area high. Okay. So for me, this is the big banger. I'm being very calculated this time. I'm ready to add on these dips. I mean, you guys can see I'm using cross now. This is a strategy that Dylan taught me here, but my liquidation is very, very far away, right? I'm not, 12, $13, man. That's dark if, that is to be, right? So I don't think that's the case. Again, anything is possible. This thing can go to zero, but again, this is crypto. This is a risk on asset, and that is the setup that I have. Okay, so let's get into some other ones here. You guys probably saw me take a ZIG trade here on WEX as well. So ZIG, we have a gentleman in the chart hackers that asks for this request every Tuesday. So if you guys are brand new here, every Tuesday I run a charting marathon session for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we go into all kinds of setups here and chart requests. But yeah, look at this value area low, love it. Pretty much drew this on Tuesday. We got the pullback that we're looking for. We're sitting on bullish order blocks. We got a reversal print on the 8-hour time frame. So I'm in the position, guys. And I'm pretty much at entry now, right? So where is ZIG? ZIG pretty much at entry. Get into the trade if you guys want to join me here. But the invalidation is very simple. If we start to lose this trend line in the bullish order blocks, get out, right? So I would say final stop loss would be around 0.07829. It's just at a very, very nice level. We're at the 786 fib right now, right? So if you take a fib from this wick low from the 16th of October to the high, you can see how we bounced off a value area low and the 786 and bullish order blocks here. This is checks all the boxes for me here. And essentially you're getting in before the break of trend. Once we break trend, we consolidate, this thing can go to the upside here. But ZIG, do some research. Apparently it's a very good project. So I've got a fib pulled from the wick high to the wick low here as well. So some TP zones for this guy, definitely at the 382 fib. So definitely at 0.9605, but some other levels, just in case you guys are wondering, you know, the 618 Fibonacci hacker zone, definitely a nice TP zone here. And then value area high 786. Probably want to take something around the middle here because this is a pretty big play, right? We're looking at a 40% move to the upside here, right? So every 6-7%, take some profits, take some profits, take some profits, right? Just in case we round trip and go to zero. Be very calculated with your risk management there. Okay, now one that is shining today is AVL, and AVL was a setup request on Tuesday. And I'm like, what the heck is this thing? This is looking crazy. And this is the drawing that I did on Tuesday. I said, hey, look, let's get that pullback. My alert went off. And sure enough, it's holding this 382. It's holding anchored VWAP. So I've got anchored VWAP from all different directions. I have an anchored VWAP from the absolute wick high here. I have an anchored VWAP from this wick low and this wick low. And yeah, you can see how the anchored VWAPs are acting as a mattress, right? Once it lands onto the mattress, it bounces off the mattress here, right? So look, it ran away 9% today. If you take a look here, it's up 10% today compared to everything else, right? So if you do some research here, Avalon Labs is a hub for BTC LSDFI and CEDEFI, lending $40 million market cap. And yeah, there's apparently it's quite bullish. So again, do your own research. Highly recommend you guys do your own research, but I'm looking to get into this trade. Again, I don't want to chase a green candle, but if we get some kind of extra little pullback here, like this is where I'm looking at re-enter here. And then, yeah, looking to take this one up to 20 cents, which is about a 27% move. We have a serious horizontal here, bearish order block here. And that's actually where we rejected quite hard. You know, so this is a very crucial horizontal level here that I identified here with the chart hackers, right? Very important horizontal level here where we have some confluence. And I see us going here. I see us going to 20 cents. Now, if we can gain some momentum and break that, you know, this is a 2x play potentially here to about 30 cents, right? So even if we get some pullbacks, deeper pullbacks, there's some other levels that I think is okay to get into this guy here. So around 1350. You know, so if we get some kind of pullback like that, I think that's still bullish for me here. But yeah, definitely this 382, set your alerts here at 15 cents, or let's just maybe even take it to like 1522, where you can trade this one here. And you can actually trade this one on WEX as well. So if you guys want to trade these trades with me, description below, guys, there's a bonus. Get started with us on WEX and make some money here. So the other setup I took here, and this is also on Bitfunded, guys, is ONDO. I really like ONDO, and look, it's holding this horizontal that I've identified from quite a while ago here. And we just did essentially a double bottom here, right? I think it's interesting to see as you look at all the coins that took a slap to the face today. Look at this wick here, and let's just see how, I mean, literally to the T, guys, came in and just did this double bottom here. So I'm in the long as well, a little bit bigger size than some of the other ones here. I've got a $15,000 position here. It's already cooking in some profits, you know, 127 bucks, whatever the case may be. And guys, don't worry about this cross stuff, 200x, 20x. There's a strategy to cross. It's more about position sizing here, right? So you notice like $3,000 position, $20,000 position, and just making sure that, you know, you are managing your risk appropriately here. So I do like ONDO a lot. This is on Bitfunded. So if you guys are on the Bitfunded challenge, right, this is a great entry right now. And then just set a stop loss, set it like 3 or 4% stop loss. I mean, 4% stop loss seems realistic, 65.40. And yeah, let's see how we go here, right? So ONDO looks great. Again, looking for that relief rally, guys. I'm not saying this is bullish and we're going to the moon, but I think it's a realistic thing to kind of bounce here and then maybe reject here and do that. Okay, so looking for a 10% bounce, if anything. But if we can break this and go for the target, like kind of like Link, right? Link has all these moving averages and VWAPs to the upside. I mean, this could be a nice play here, and this could actually be the swing, right? It could be the swing, right? And that's kind of what you want to do, is position yourself in case it is. But yeah, if it's a very clear invalidation, we're losing the horizontal, get out. 65.40, get out, right? So this is the other data that we have here, right? On the 7th of April of this year, we had bottomed out right here at the same exact level that we're at now. And then, yeah, we had this 50% rally, 60, 70% rally here, guys. And ONDO has got some stuff cooking in the background. I think I showed that maybe a couple episodes ago. And then, yeah, the upside potential is obviously quite nice here, right? And yeah, I like it. I really do. Okay, so I'm in the ONDO trade as well. Again, all these charts are going to be posted in the Chart Hackers Discord after we are done here. Now, I've got 3 more longs that I'm in. I've got, we got 5 minutes to cover them. So let me try to explain these quite, the best I can. But NMR. So I gave NMR on the daily candle today. And yeah, we had this extensive sell-off here, so I had to kind of adjust this horizontal level here. But if you guys remember NMR, there's a JP Morgan kind of, James, help me out here. I think you know all the details, but JP Morgan funded, I think it's like 500 million or.
Yeah, because this thing, I don't know what the market cap is now. When we looked at it, it was about $100 million market cap, and JP Morgan had committed to investing 500 million, 5 times the market cap. I'm like, how the hell do you secure an investment for 5 times what you're worth? That's massive.
Yeah.
So they obviously know something we don't know.
Yeah, and essentially it is round trip, guys. This is like Black Friday discount, in my opinion here, right? So I've got a 786 fib here, right? So I took a fib from the wick low here, or the start of the move, to this wick high, and look, we are at a 786. What's better than hacker zones? It's the 786 fib, and look, we are sitting in the 786 region right now with a nice little bounce. And yeah, I've taken the long here. I love how the 6-hour time frame has a blue reversal dot and a bullish divergence. And there's a lot of tokens that haven't shown this, these blue reversal dots, but we're on a kind of a higher time frame. And with the fundamentals and the bullish things behind it, I think this is a good play. So I'm in the position now, and then just watching it, right? If we get a dip down to the 200-day moving average here at around 1071, I will be adding to my position here, and hopefully that's the bottom. And when NMR, when NMR gets going here, it has these stupid aggressive green candles here, right? So we had a stupid aggressive green candle there, right there, right there. That one kind of is a little weak there, but if we can get an aggressive green candle move, these are kind of the targets here, right? So looking at this as a potential swing long, potentially here. But if not, I'm completely okay with a 20% move-ish, right? 16, 15, 20% move to the upside. So looking to take profits around 323. But if we can break trend and get this aggressive green candle, looking for something that's quite massive here, which is about a 50% move here. Okay, so I've got some TP zones as well. Again, if you guys are subscribed to the daily candle, you should have all these TP zones here. But 1323 for a TP zone, 1588 for another TP zone. We've got an anchored VWAP, and then 1767, which is value area high, and another anchored VWAP here. Okay, so I am in the NMR trade as well. Looks good. And then the other one was AVNT. So AVNT, we gave this, I guess 3 or 4 weeks ago. It ripped pretty crazy. I have no idea why it ripped so hard, so fast. But look, it had this cute little rally here last week, and again, 786 wick low to wick high, 786, guys. We are in the 786. In fact, we kissed the 786 perfectly. So I am in this trade as well. And look at this bullish order block, guys. 78.21 looks really good. And yeah, I'm looking to take AVNT up to, I guess let's take a look here. We have a POC at 65.6. So how much of a move is that? About a 12% move, pretty realistic here. And then also if we take a fib from the wick high to the actual 786 low here, look at this anchored VWAP coming in with a 382, right? That would be kind of the ultimate target here, which is about 70 cents. So I think, from this low here, looking for a 24% move to the upside here. Now, if we get any dips down to this value area low at 55, I'm adding to my position. Look at this wick low here. We had that crazy crash, API, whatever liquidation event. And then we came back and then tested this value area low here. Right, so I have another alert set here at 55 cents just to get me in front of the screen. However, I also did add another order here, right? So you can see here I have another order at 54.90. here on WEX, right? So if Asia does come and tries to, stop US market out, this is kind of where I suspect AVNT to go here. So I've got a cool little $10,000 position going here. But once they come and take this order, I will essentially double down and have a $20,000 position here. Okay, so AVNT looks really good. Again, these are some degen plays here. ONDO's on Bitfunded, so you guys can take that. I also went long on SNX, also on Bitfunded here. So SNX is, interesting level here, right? So we have a 786. So we had the crazy crash. And I thought it was interesting that the fib from that crash to the absolute high here, like we literally pinged the 786 as well, guys. I mean, guys, today is, Black Friday discount here. So 786, very important horizontal level here. So you can see how we had found support here at 91 cents, and then we had rejected here before, right? So this is a very key zone, 4-hour oversold confirmations. And, let's see, I think we do have some divergent stuff happening here, probably on the shorter time frames. I think that's what it was. Yep. So bullish divergence, bullish divergence, bullish divergence, bullish divergence, blue reversal dot, and then it just kept going down. So I'm okay with this kind of thing, right? If you see a lot of this and it goes lower, it's just giving you clues that there is going to be some kind of bounce soon, guys. And look at this crazy sell-off. I wonder how many people are holding shorts from up here. Again, all it takes is one green candle, right? And it makes a lot of sense to kind of see something like this. And again, this is one of the setups that I found just last minute and took the trade before the show started here. But yeah, look at this fib from the wick high to the low here, 382 fib tying in with the point of control, a 64% move. And I am in this trade on WEX as well. WEX does not allow big size, but $3,000 position, I'll take it in a little bit of profits already. So yeah, SNX looks good here, guys. 786 horizontal bullish divergence. Invalidation really is loss of the 786 here. If we start to drift down and start candle closing here, I mean, that's going to be quite sad. And that'll be my evacuation. Like, okay, this idea is invalidated, guys, and just be ready. These ideas will be invalidated, right? Like I said, you're going to have these absolute rippers that ends up paying for these stops that didn't work out on some of these trade ideas here, but every single idea that I'm giving you here, guys, makes sense, right? And so I love Solana too, right? Kind of also a bit funded play, but Solana, I think it was 2 Fridays ago, told everybody I was long in Sol. I long Sol on the Banter Royale yesterday as well. I love this anchored VWAP, 200-day moving average, rising trend. I mean, if Asia comes and just, if anything, I would love to see 178 hold. And then, yeah, look for this little pump up to the $200 region. And then, yeah, maybe we reject here and go lower. But that's kind of what I'm looking at here, guys. So, look, it's been 33 minutes. I'm 3 minutes over. I think I've covered quite a bit of bangers here. If you guys are looking for some shorts, again, look, I think shorts are kind of played out. If you guys want to play with fire, there's 2 that stand out to me here. JELLYJELLY. I mean, we gave JELLYJELLY way back in the days here, but there's an interesting wick here, right? There's a wick here at 1653. Like maybe they come and take out the wick and then send it down. So maybe set yourself a degen alarm here at 16.3 and just nibble away at it. Just small position, right? Once you start to see the swing failure pattern, right? So let's just say you see the wick and it starts to struggle, it does this and then comes up, right? Like you see the weakness, then that's when you activate the short and go all in. Okay, so JELLYJELLY looks like a degen short. The other one that looked crazy was the PIPPIN. Again, these are like meme coins, so you're essentially these are for the filthy degens that want to gamble. I've got to cater to you guys as well, but I mean, look, this is quite high. You still have these guys to deal with. I mean, that's pretty aggressive. 53%. I mean, just be careful, man. I don't really know what to tell you. Other than good luck. But look, 618, maybe that's what it is. Hacker zone, set an alert at 0.041. That could be the short there, right? Something like that. But again, I take these with a grain of salt or whatever the saying is. Don't, just be ready to lose your money on these guys. Okay. But that's kind of the idea here. Wait for a little pop and then look for that pullback here, right? Again, these market makers are not going to make it easy for the shorts. But yeah, that's what I got, guys. That's what's cooking in the kitchen here. Again, recap for any of you guys that just tuned in a little bit late here and want to know the deal. You know, we have kissed the 786 here, value area low. I do think we are going to bottom out here. And yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but you know, probability says we hold value area low. You know, I think Asia's either going to come pretty close and then go. So maybe the first few hours they fake us out with some red right away. Or they come and take US market out and then reclaim and then finally see that strength. So I think it's going to be one of those two guys. And yeah, any interesting chats going on here? I did not get a chance to see it as I've just been running and gunning and just dealing with the short time constraint here. But yeah, let me read the chats real quick and then we'll close it out. I know that there was supposed to be a Banter Royale tomorrow if you guys were tuned into the Banter main channel yesterday, guys, but that is actually being postponed and rescheduled. So I will keep you guys posted on that. But yeah, just seeing the sentiment, guys. Okay, we got Norby Pro. He's so bullish. Okay. Cool. At least not everybody's bearish. Awesome, guys. Well, look, I appreciate all the support. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. If you do, again, there's a lot of links and descriptions in the description below, where you can, you know, trade with me. Also, the Gravity exchange, right? So if you guys are interested in Gravity, that's in there below as well. It's a decentralized exchange, kind of like Hype. It's private, so nobody can know like your transactions. It's all like low key, but it's cross only, so it's pretty much for advanced traders. If you guys know how to use cross, get started with Gravity there. But other than that, guys, we will see you on the next trade. So with that, James, any final words for these guys? I know that you know, you said there was nothing but good news, and you know, why is this happening, right? Like,
well, yeah, it's being all the big influencers on Twitter screaming, why are we dumping? Trump just was in China. He got a deal with Japan. He got a deal with South Korea. He got the tariffs fixed with China. He's got the rare earth metals coming back in. Why are we dumping? We're dumping because we're dumping. This was planned anyway. And there was the rate cut and everything else too. But yeah, the market really didn't like JPOW not guaranteeing that we're having a rate cut in December. They got their panties in a bundle. So yeah, I think this was in the cards anyway. And there's no news that's going to fix it. If the news that's happened isn't going to make us pump, nothing is. I think we just had to hit a level first. Yep. We're there, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Good luck, everyone.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Cheers. Bye for now.